Breaking news right now, friends. The oil that we all rely on, its amazing, magical price point has just tanked. Welcome back to another episode of the Almost Daily Zencast. Good morning, Trumptopia, news, breaking news, and or whatever the hell I call my podcast. I am your incorrigible host, Mr. Zeppo. And today, friends, just moments ago, as I was getting ready to jump on the platform and talk to you, lovely humans, directly into your ear holes, I saw the craziest thing I've seen on the news in 44 years of being stuck on this planet. Oil's been tanking. Trump mysteriously opened one of his COVID-19 briefings. It was outside on the Rose Garden, I do believe, if my memory serves. With a long... Oh, no, he did... I forget. I'm seeing both, the Rose Garden and the press room, so I don't know which one is it now. But not more than a week ago, he comes out and starts talking about oil. To everyone's chagrin. And we were all like, why is he talking about oil? And about his heroic efforts to convince OPEC, the consortium of oil-producing countries, to cut production because there's a glut. And I didn't believe it, but I think he said, like, it's 99 cents a gallon or will be soon. And I'm like, or it hasn't been, I know what he said. He said it hasn't been 99 cents a gallon since the 50s. And I'm like, excuse me, that can't be true. Because I wasn't here in the 50s and I paid for 99 cent gallon of gas. I remember it very vividly. Loving it. So, let's say 94? 96, 97, 98, somewhere in there. Still, forever ago, right? I had been very curious about his oil rant ever since. And by his statement about that there's a glut and that he's asking them to reduce production. Apparently, as with all things Trump, he waited until it was perfectly too little too late to do much of anything. And right now, today, if you were to get on the interwebs and type in crude oil, or turn on your news and watch long enough, you'll notice that they are just now getting a little shaky in the knees because oil is at a negative price point. Now, that may not seem like a big deal at first, especially if you don't follow the markets much, and how many of us really do. I didn't most of my life, and though I can claim to have learned a little bit and followed it a little bit. It's only enough to be like, okay, well, that's a bunch of other people's money. I don't think that oil has ever traded at negative dollar price point. So it just dropped from whatever it was at. And in recent memory, it was up as high as like $90 a gallon, a barrel, not a gallon. Now, see, in recent times, what weird news have we heard about oil? Well, there was the whole weird tension between Russia and Saudi Arabia. And then this unique moment, this curious moment, at the White House talking about the glut in oil. And now today, its trading price on the open market has plummeted. And I guarantee it hasn't started yet, at least not as of right now as of this recording, but I guarantee you that in tonight's evening news and all through tomorrow and the next day, one of two things are going to happen. They're barely going to mention it, and it'll be a strange curiosity, and they'll try to, like, minimize it without sounding like they're minimizing it. Or they're going to fucking alarm bell, 4-alarm fire the hell out of it. And if that should happen, I don't know where you go next, because it's literally right now at the sort of production pipeline level, the producer of the oil, it's at negative price point, so the producer of the oil has to pay a buyer to take it. Are they going to pay us at the pump to fill our tanks now? That'd be a thing, I guess. That'd be suicide. That'd be insane. This is all madness. I have long ago, since like the mid-90s, said quite boldly and publicly that the combustion engine is suicide. It's long-term toxic poisoning of the air we breathe, and that gets into everything. So maybe we really are about to radically change. Maybe I'm glad I just bought a used electric car. At first I was like scared, and then I got it. I'm like committed, and I got it. And anyways, it's weird. It's like having a giant phone in your garage. But I digress. This is shock. I'm actually just shocked and kind of don't know what to say. And this is exactly the kind of moment that breaking news is about. Like, this was bizarre, and I've got to tell you about it. And I've got to tell you about it right now. And I don't even know what's going to happen yet. And I don't have anything else to say, but other than, whoa, tune into this and pay attention, because this is crazy. If we do crude oil price chart, that gives us prices over the last couple of years. Average closing price in 2015 was $48.72 a gallon. In 2016, $43.58. In 2017, $50.84. What is today's crude oil price? And it opens up a list, and we got OPEC basket is trading at $2.06. Mars US, $2.82. Natural gas, 27 cents in the positive. Brent crude is at negative $1.42. And now, I'm not entirely sure. Crude oil price today in dollar per barrel, right? One barrel is 42 gallons. Good to know. So various sources have it at various points. According to exchange-rates.org.uk, the day high over the last trading period was $26.37. So it's been dropping for a while. I was actually quite amazed to be at a gas station in the last 48 hours and see it at under $2. Like, it was a shock. Or under 3. Was it under 3? Under 3 or 2. It was still like, whoa. I was convinced we were about to hit $5 a barrel. I mean, a gallon at the gas pump. So, here's an article by the Economic Times. U.S. crude oil futures turn negative for first time on scant storage and weak demand. All right. Well, so obviously I could definitely find out more. This is, and it will be, already is being called, truly unprecedented. And I've come to sort of dislike using that word and unlist it from my general use vocabulary list because it was getting burnt out. Every effing day was a new level of unprecedented Trumptopian Trumpiness. And it just got old. But this is a whole nother thing, folks. Grab onto the seat of your pants, because I don't know if this is great, if this is horrible, if this is gonna be a boon to people. Because really low gas, like, I would love it. It would be brilliant if we could bring gas price back down to 99 cents a gallon and make it cleaner and more efficient and less toxic, and have made a bunch of money already on it being almost $5 a gallon out here in California. And in Europe and stuff, it's crazier expensive, and they drive less, which is why I think they get away with it. It took me forever to realize why. I'm like, well, we wouldn't tolerate that. And yet, here in California, where we are forced to drive like crazy, we tolerated higher prices than in other states in the union that got, for whatever reasons, much lower prices. It's a messed up system. And let's talk about it for a minute. Let's really pause. Now, independent of the concern, the very rational, very plausible, very real concern and fear that anybody might be currently experiencing because crude oil at the barrel is now in negative prices. On the news, I saw negative 34. When I first opened a Google search page, one article listed negative 40. That means it's not going to move, right? Like, I don't think that the giant oil producers are going to pay the buyers that buy it from them to take it off their hands. But then again, maybe that'll work for a hot minute till the market balances out. Here's a big question. Does anyone really know what is supposed to happen in a moment like this? I don't know. Do you? Like, it's the world's most important commodity. It's literally a huge part of the reason why we're not on the gold standard anymore. It's the lifeblood of everything. If it isn't because someone's making money off of it directly, it's fueling the delivery and the moving and the it's powering everything. It powers everything. It is also, let us not forget before we get all starry-eyed with our capitalist daydream of what a wonderful commodity crude oil is. It is, let us not forget, the most toxic thing we've ever done to ourselves and the planet. Pulling it out of the ground probably has unforeseen problems that we're causing just by the act of pulling it out of the ground. Never mind everything else we do with it once we have pulled it out of the ground. Right? Like, that's the level of it where we're like, we're not even going to think about that. But let's take a moment and really pause and consider let's consider the range of strange, bizarre, and unusual phenomena that occurred in the states that got really into fracking. Not limited to, but most notably, the sudden occurrence of localized regional earthquakes in a place that had never had earthquakes in all of living memory. Right? Nobody there had ever, in recorded history, noted the phenomena. And within months of fracking, I think, if I'm not mistaken, if my memory serves, based on the admittedly very anti-fracking biased documentary, within months of fracking operations entering into states that were primed for fracking that had never had earthquakes, there were suddenly crazy earthquakes. The fact that it poisoned tons and tons of people's drinking water, the fact that it just causes general grossness and toxicity, right? But no one worries about the problems caused that we may be causing, that we may not realize will cause some sort of complex problem in the future, simply through the act of taking this stuff out of the ground. It's there, and I hate to sound like a cliche, but God forbid it might be there for a reason, and that reason might explicitly not be for us to rip it out and burn it for money. People have called me crazy for this notion for a very long time, so don't worry if you think I'm crazy. I am just shocked. This is some breaking news that I saw the prices wobbling and there being a problem, and I heard Trump talk about a glut, but I didn't think it would become a problem of it going into negative numbers. So what kind of damage is that going to cause to the economy? Or will it somehow be a boon? Will it somehow generate infrastructure growth? I don't know. I'm not a market expert. And I don't know if anyone had ever created a, a contingency plan for such a deep dive. Can you imagine if it just keeps going? At its height, in my lifetime, I've seen oil traded at $100 a barrel, right? 100 and something. Now, I don't think it's ever gotten more than that. I don't know. I guess I could type it in. I don't care. I'm too lazy. Let's just say that I can confirm that I know for a fact. Well, I know from a memory that I've seen it at $100 a barrel. Not anytime recently. Can you imagine if it got to negative $100 a barrel? And they had to pay us to use it. How would that even impact secondary and third tier industries that buy oil and buy products derived from oil? Like, what would happen? It would be this massive influx of cash in a direction hitherto never expected. Would that rip things apart? Would that make things amazing and magical? Would we keep oil at a negative price value until we tapped it out? I don't know. Do the oil companies that own the rights to the oil and that have profiteered on their control of this commodity and that have painted themselves with their own product into this corner, how long could they sustainably pay out? Not very long, right? At $100, let's just say it's settled at negative 50. At negative $50 a barrel. That's billions of dollars out the door. Billions. If you're going to keep moving, you would stop moving it, right? It would make no sense to keep telling them to take it. And presumably, there's enough in reserve everywhere already sold that we wouldn't need to buy anytime soon, especially now under these heightened, bizarre, mildly cool because there's a slightly nice angle that it's improving air quality, but otherwise totally bizarre, fucked up circumstances. My other question, of course, is I don't think we'll ever find out what it means for crude to be at a negative price point, because I'm sure it's not flowing, right? It's not being the reason that it's I'm sure that the reason the price dropped so low was because in actual terms, barrels were not being transported anywhere. They were just being stockpiled in their whatever stockpile they go when at the production facilities, I'd imagine. So my other question is, what will it take to reverse these conditions? What comes next? Talk about uncertainty. I opened up today's first ramble, which I don't even remember what I said, so I apologize to you if it's completely incoherent. I was like, I'm not drinking coffee, and it's 4:20. Yeah, my other big concern right now, as this news ripples around the world, is what will happen next in terms of the otherwise sort of stereotypical conflict paradigm that we have around oil and oil production. And that, like, who's going to go fight whom over this? That's a creepy question, right? Like, who's going to go to war with whom because of this situation? And how do we fix it? Is someone just going to burn a bunch of oil for, like, is that why that happened in that one war? We just burned, let the fields burn for like a month. Interesting times, fascinatingly bizarre times we're living through, folks. And I honestly don't know what's going to happen next. And I know that there's a lot of people out there claiming to know and to have predicted. And maybe I'm naive or stupid enough to just not see it. But I have a hard time believing that anyone predicted this. I think it's easier to, paste together some Photoshop looking things that it's like, oh, see, look, there's evidence that I proved it, that I posted it X time ago. But also, like, hello, Photoshop. And this is just crazy. Anyways, I could not come on and talk about it at negative something $40. Let's round down and call it 30, because I don't know. I don't want to sound alarmist. I don't want to project a number that's incorrect. I've seen it move from 34 to 40. Just in the time of, like, seeing it on the news and then looking it up on the internet. I'm like, what? We're in for some interesting times. And, I guess if you're one of those people that likes to stockpile things, wait a bit and then just start stockpiling gasoline, because it's going to be dirt cheap. Wouldn't it be hilarious if they started paying us to take it? Like, what? I would go and I would stockpile gasoline. I doubt that's going to happen. I'm worried that what will happen is, massive international conflict. Because that's what we're used to. But I'm just worried that, given the heightened state of everything, that whatever it is, it's just going to be one thing too much, and everyone's, like, going to go a little cuckoo, Like, no one wants to kick off a war under these circumstances. We need some downtime. We need some kind of vacation from this lockdown staycation. And going to war is not it. So stay savvy, folks. Keep an eye on what your politicians are really doing. Let them know that if they start inching towards the war machine any further, let alone trying to ramp up into the things we're already engaged in, that we will notice and that we will rally. Because I'm talking to the world here, right? Like, this is going on everywhere, and everyone's governments are going to do weird things, I think, in response to this. In fact, I'm already eager to get back on the news to see if they're, like, already in, like, 4-alarm fire, ringing the bells and freaking out about it. So stay tuned, stay tuned, and stoned. Stay chill, folks. Don't forget to connect with your meditation practice and, get in there. Get into that trauma. Talk to your inner child. Heal all your wounds. And then we can tackle the logistical shitstorm we've created for ourselves. But if we don't heal a little bit first, if we don't prioritize that to the top of the list, we're never going to get anything done. And that's this segment for now, folks. As always, thanks for tuning in. I have been your eccentric, rambling, and absent-minded host, the incorrigible Mr. Zeppo. Stay tuned. Keep an eye out. Stay vigilant. Don't overreact. Stay chill. And let your loved ones know that you love them and stuff. Also, if there are any of my family tuning in to listen randomly, I'm sending you some love. That was my radio love voice right there. And so, folks, for reals, things are going to get weirder. And I hate having been the guy that said that, but I did. I said, you know what, guys? I don't know what's going to happen next. This is way before before the new year, before 2020. But I said, things are going to get weirder. And they did. And they're getting even weirder, I think. May peace, love, and grooviness blossom in your heart.